If this is your first time watching one of these videos, hi, my name is Crystal, and these videos are my response to a Bible study called Weight Loss Bootcamp from Setting Captives Free. This is a free online course and I have it linked below. I would love it if you would walk this journey with me, especially if you struggle with overeating. Today's lesson is Lesson 27, Washing at the Cross Review. The power of what Jesus did for each of us at the cross is overwhelming. It breaks our hearts and heals our hearts at the same time. When Eve confronts Satan, we learn that if we enter into a dialogue with Satan, who is tempting us, we will lose. We must flee, or if we can't flee, resist the devil and he will flee. It has always been significant to me that the first sin involved food. Eve looked at the food. She thought about the food. She ate the food. She talked about the food. And she convinced another to follow her lead into sin. Then they hid from God and began to focus on self. And Adam shifted the blame to God. Proverbs 28:13 says, "Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy." From Jody G. We can't or won't want to change if we always think it is someone else's fault. We won't see the need for the cross and therefore cannot receive forgiveness. Adam and Eve sinned and they faced punishment. But God still loved them. He gave them grace and comforted them. He covered their shame and nakedness through the sacrifice of an animal, like our sins were covered by Jesus at the cross. Lessons from God providing these animal skins include, first, our attempts at covering ourselves by works are insufficient. 2, God must provide the coverings for our sins. And 3, when God looks at you, he sees the sacrifice. We have access to a constant fountain flowing from the cross. We must wash in this fountain over and over and put on his robe of righteousness, the blood of Christ. Isaiah 61:10 says, "I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God, for he has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of his righteousness, as a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with jewels." God clothed Adam and Eve in animal skins. He clothes us in garments of salvation, a robe of his righteousness. When God sees me, he sees Jesus. Wow. That was a very, very powerful lesson. Very powerful. I have studied Eve quite extensively, and especially the idea of that first sin being a food sin. I mean, that was so impactful to me. A long time ago, that was impactful to me, and it continues to be. But I never saw the power of the clothing, the idea of the animal sacrifice in order to clothe them in the skins, and that Jesus is our sacrifice, which clothes us in our new skin. I never saw how that related to the cross before. So this lesson, I remember it from way back when, but I don't think it's stuck in my head. So maybe this time that will stick in my head. This really makes me want to go back and read the Old Testament again. I've read completely through the Bible twice with my sisters. We kind of have it's the YouVersion app, and it has a Bible study that you can do with others. And so my sisters and I have read through the entire Bible twice. And this makes me want to go back and read through the Old Testament again and look for Jesus and look for the cross, because he is in the most surprising places. Thank you so much. You have a good day.